Write two ratios that are equivalent to 3 to 11. Remember, ratios are very similar to fractions in the way that you can reduce or expand them and still have equivalent values. So if we had a fraction like 3 over 11, I could times the top and bottom by 2, and it would give me 6 over 22, which is an equivalent fraction to what I started with. We can do the same thing with the ratios. So instead of 3 to 11, an equivalent ratio could be 6 to 22. If I multiplied them by 10, I could have 30 to 110. Come up with one of your own. This one was multiplied by 2, and this one was multiplied by 10. Try and come up with one of your own in addition to the two that I've shown you. Number 3A says the ratio of the width to the height of the rectangle is, and we need to fill in those blanks. So we can look at the width. How many squares wide is that rectangle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wide. And how tall? How many squares tall? 1, 2, 3, 4 squares tall. In part B, it says if each square in the grid has a side length of 8, what is the width and height of the rectangle? So if each of those squares, there was 9 squares, is 8, the way we could figure that out is by multiplying. So the width would be 8 times 9, which is 72 millimeters, by the height, which was 4, multiplied by 8, because each square is 8, gives us 32 millimeters. So it's 72 wide by 32 tall. For a project in their health class, Jasmine and Brenda recorded the amount of milk they drank every day. Jasmine drank 2 pints of milk each day, and Brenda drank 3 pints of milk each day. Write a ratio of the number of pints Jasmine drank to the number of pints Brenda drank. Jasmine came first. It says Jasmine to Brenda, so we want the amount Jasmine drank compared to the amount Brenda drank. Remember, you can also write this in the format with the little colon in the middle. B asks us to write this scenario with a tape diagram. So since 2 represents Jasmine, Jasmine needs 2 boxes. 3 represents Brenda, so Brenda needs 3 boxes. Remember, our goal is to keep them about the same size. So that way we can see, okay, 2 lines up, 1 lines up, 2 lines up. And so that way we know that their size indicates something. C says if 1 pint, meaning one of those boxes, is equal to 2 cups of milk, how many did each of them drink? How many did Jasmine drink? Well, Jasmine would have drank 4, because 2 and 2 make 4. And Brenda drank 2, 4, 6 cups. How do we know? Well, if we multiply the pints by how many pints, or how many cups are in a pint, So multiply the amount of pints by how many cups are in a pint, and that tells us how many cups they drink. Then it says write the ratio of the cups. Jasmine drank 4 and Brenda drank 6. You can write it in that format or in this format. It says, are the two ratios you determined equivalent? Explain why or why not. Are 2 to 3 and 4 to 6 equivalent? If you look at the 2, how could we get from a 2 to a 4 and a 3 to a 6? Well, 2 times 2 gives us 4, and 3 times 2 gives us 6. Did we multiply by the same thing? Yes. So these two are equivalent, just like if we were to say 2/3 and 4/6 are equivalent. If you multiply them both by the same thing, they are equivalent fractions, and in this case, they are equivalent ratios.